Story time on how I let an inmate scam me for almost 2 years of my life. This all happened back in 2024 when I first decided I wanted to be a correction officer. Don't get me wrong, when I first started, I thought I was going to be one of the hardest officers. You can't tell me shit. And for about a year, I was doing good. We're going to call this Tyler. Tyler was about 6'3" on the skinnier side, and he was a mixed race, black, and something else. Tattoos on the neck, fine.
Yo, listen, there's a chance that if your girl's a CO, she's either getting dropped off by one of the inmates or she getting dropped off by one of her coworkers. Now, look, I'm going to say it's a 70% chance. I ain't going to say all the females is doing it, but there's a good chance, bro. Your girl, your sister, your mom's, if she a CO, she either getting dropped off by somebody or she thinking about getting dropped off by somebody. Somebody in that building is making her spread them and cough. Don't shoot the messenger.
Fine. And don't get me wrong, there was a lot of fine men in that prison, but it was something about him. Now, when I first saw him, I already knew he was on bullshit. But he did little shit to get my attention, but I will always cuss him out every time. One specific time where I gave him a direct order, and I put some curse words in it, some razzle dazzle, and the man turned around and he said, "Girl, stop playing with me." Girl, something about that. Something about that hit my toxic side. I don't know what it was. But don't get me wrong, I wasn't invested just yet. I really was trying to make sure that I stayed on my P's and Q's, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm dead ass wrong, because I knew damn well he wasn't looking for me like that, because I'm gonna show you what I look like then. Bitch, I was dead ass wrong. And I had
Even my chair knew something was up. My chair, look where I'm at. My chair just went down a level. Yo, wait. It's not necessarily her. It's the way she said it. She was like, I'm dead ass wrong. Yo, first off, man, somebody was going to drop your big ass off. I hate when females do that. Like, oh, I'm big. Like, don't nobody want me. Like, bitch, what? It's a out here that's going to kill for your big ass. He going to you and feed you. Do not sell yourself short because you little big boned.
no sense of self-worth. But then it's really still on me because I let it go for so long. To get straight into it, we went on a full thing of me cussing him out, telling him to leave me alone, him coming and still trying. There was one day he came up to me and, he followed me. And I was saying, stop following me. He said, no, I want you. I get what I want. And you're going to be mine. Boy, you're not getting it. The more and more I was around him, I started to not just like him for his looks, but for his personality. I actually liked him as a person, but I didn't want to let him know that. I started to realize I really started to like him, so I started ignoring him and giving him the silent treatment. On one day that I was ignoring him, he was really trying hard to get my attention, but I was just trying to stay stuck on giving him the silent treatment. He ended up getting mad and storming out of this cafeteria that we were in, and his cellmate came up to me and said, just because we're inmates does not mean that we're not human, and you don't have to ignore us like that. Something about that made me see his humanity. And that was over with after that. The day after that, he did.
Bro, I guarantee you that was a plan, bro. That was a plot that was put together to touch your soft side and weaken you up. One thing I know for sure about dudes that's in prison, these folks are very conniving. You know what I'm saying? I don't even want to say conniving, bro. They understand the psychology of people very well. And they know how to get what they want out of you.
Not come to the cafeteria at all. And then the day after that, he did see me, but he didn't say nothing to me until his cellmate came up to me and asked me how I was doing. When he seen his cellmate was trying to talk to me a little bit, that's when he decided to come up to me and was like, how you doing? And I up and I said, oh, now you want to talk to me today.
Gotcha.
When I said that, it kind of completely opened up a can of worms. Yeah. And he immediately realized that I do think about him and I do like him.
Gotcha.
He gave me his phone number. He said it out loud and he said, text my sister and I actually want to mess with you. I think you'll be good for me in the world. I get out in 8 months. When this man said he got out in 8 months, it was over with.
Where's part 2, girl?
This is part 2 on how I let an inmate scam me for almost 2 years of my life. Okay, so after he had basically told me that he only had 8 months left, it was already in my head that I didn't give a Mind you, all of this time that he was talking to me, I never really responded unless I'm telling him to get the out my face or tell him to get the away from me. That shit did not matter to him. It was like somehow he knew, like, even though I'm ignoring him, I'm taking in everything he's saying. Keep in mind, I have wrote this man up before. And I'm going to tell you why. So, there's one specific day when we were in the cafeteria and he was saying some inappropriate things, some freaky things to me about how I like to get aid and, you know what I'm saying, what he'll do to me, you know, when he gets out of jail. And mind you, he said this in front of a lot of people, so automatically I wrote him up. This was a few months ago. The day that he told me he only had 8 months left and he gave me his sister's number, I'm like, oh, I want to see what that's about. So I ended up going home and I downloaded Text Now and I was using my old phone. I texted his sister on Text Now and I gave her a code word. The code word was the name that I told him was my first name. And I told him my name was Amber. I texted her Amber and she just said bet. As soon as she texted me back, I immediately blocked her number. I was just thinking, what the am I doing? I'm tripping. I blocked the number, I deleted the thread, and I deleted the app. The next morning, I was like, okay, we're going to go back to ignoring him. We're going to act like I never did this. I remember asking if I can be placed in another spot just so I wouldn't have to see him that day. Nobody listened. They put me in the same spot I'm in every day. When I seen him, he immediately came up to me and was like, my sister said she texted you and we were trying to get in touch with you while you wasn't answering the phone. I made up something in my head. I said, I'm good on you. I heard about you. I heard that you messing with other guards and you're not finna just make me one of your victims. He got loud. This should have been the first red flag about this man. Ooh, who's the bitches so I can go and cuss them out and charge them up? I immediately started looking around like, hush. When I tell you, I tried to ignore him after that shit for the rest of the day. I was just telling him to leave me the alone.
As much stories I hear of like COs getting caught up like this, I still can't understand how they're getting caught up like this. Well, I know how they're getting caught up like this, but to me it's like, bro, it's not worth it. How they get caught up like this? Yo, we all been in situations where we worked around people and if we were outside, we wouldn't look at them at all, right? But because we work in the same proximity, it's like, damn, she's starting to look good. She looking all right. Now, these female COs is coming in there. These dudes don't have nothing better to do than work out. They have nothing better to do than do push-ups, do dips, hit the bench. So these folks is in there swole. So they around these in shape ass. That's one. Two, prisoners, I would say 90% mental. And majority of that, the mental games is just pure testosterone. You have to show everybody else in there that you a man and you ain't going for shit. So imagine a female walking around all this level of testosterone. Of course her getting moist. Then the dudes she working with, they have to be quote unquote tougher than the prisoners. I could see a chick being in that environment and just being like, damn. Oh, it's too much testosterone in here. I can't take it. I'm not saying it's right because at the end of the day, you know the reward is not worth the risk.
He started following me like my every move. Bro, why you acting like that? It's not true. I promise it's not true. I've been trying to with you for months. Man, hell no, I'm not finna let these hoes that shit up. I remember getting so overwhelmed about the fact that this man is talking to me and following me. I tried to just ask my manager to leave early because I was just getting too overwhelmed and overstimulated. So I just walked out and I was leaving. The way they were, they had to be escorted out or they had to be told when they could leave. There was two doors. There was a door where he could leave out of and there was a door I could only leave out of. This man walked out the door, snuck about that door and started following me. Literally chased me down. I'm ignoring him, walking fast. All I know is I heard, Amber, come here. And I looked at him like, what the f***? I was like, I don't and when I call you today, you better answer the phone or I'm going to blow it up. So you can't blow it up, I already have you blocked.
Now he demanding you that you come here. You see how the power dynamic just shifted? He demanding that you come here. You the CO. You the one with the pepper spray and the mace and the baton and the radio. But he demanding that you come here. He ain't even spanked them cheeks yet.
This is part 3 on how I let an inmate scam me for almost 2 years of my life. Okay, so When I got home that night, because I was literally getting off, I ended up deciding I was going to go to Walmart. So I went to Walmart and I got me like a little phone because I did not want my number connected or my phone even connected to him at all. And I went home and I set it up. I texted the number, his sister's number, and I texted her and I said, "This is Amber." I would say probably within like 10 minutes, I got a phone call. I declined because I was honestly scared. Then the second phone call, I answered. The first thing I hear when I get on the phone is, "Hey, baby. Ooh, my baby. You answered the phone, my baby." Red flag. And I'm not going to lie, at that time, I kind of copped it. It was like during this whole situation, I was kind of like tracking what was going on, but I was just not letting myself believe it. I said, "Boy, please." And he was like, "Damn, you're not my baby." I said, "Nigga, I don't even know you." Okay, so at this point, we on the phone. He's asking me, like, "Are you going to mess with me? Are you going to give me a chance? Like, you know what I'm saying? You going to let me get to know you?" And I'm just like, I don't know about that. I got to see what you're working on. I got to see who you are. By the end of the call, it was just basically, you know, a little bit of flirting, playing hard to get, you know, shit like that. At the end of the call, this man was like, "All right, baby, I'm gonna call you tomorrow. I'm gonna see you tomorrow," and then started making kissy noises on the phone. And I was like, "I know you." I said, "Why is you making kisses noise?" He was like, "Man, if I was in that world, you was gonna give me a kiss." And I was like, "Why the would I kiss you? I don't be kissing." He was like, "You gonna give me a kiss if I tell you to give me a kiss?" Something in me was like, this playing with me right now. Like, this I'm dumb. Okay, so the next day comes and
But you like that shit. Everything he's saying is getting to you right here and right here. Oh, Lord have mercy. Don't sleep. His sister on three-way listening to y'all also. They probably recording the conversation. They setting your ass up to get blackmailed.
and he comes straight up to me. We on the same schedule, the same thing I do every day. He comes up to me and he was like, "You look good today. I'm so glad that you finally let me in." So now that he's starting to come up to me more and more throughout the day, I'm like, damn, I'm being a little bit too nice to him. So now if I'm going to be nice to him, I got to be nice to everybody. Which was really weird for me because I was literally the meanest officer at that motherfucker. When I tell you I was so mean, people hated me. So for me to be nice out of nowhere, it kind of looked weird.
That's why he took
So it was a little bit weird for me.
My bad, y'all. I know I'm pausing so much. I apologize. But she just said something. When you that young lady at the job or in any type of situation where you're around men, this could potentially make you a target. If you just a bitch for no reason, you just rude to everybody. Some men find that attractive, but some dudes will plot on you. Because it's like, who does this bitch think she is? I'm going to get that. I'm going to her back and not clean it.
You're being nice all of a sudden. I would say by the end of that day, because I was starting to be a little bit more friendlier with everyone else, he started getting upset. He came up to me and he was like, "Baby, you being too friendly. This don't look good." Mind you, we literally only been talking for like a day.
Where's part 4? Part 4.
This is part 4 on how I let an inmate scam me for almost 2 years of my life. But when he told me that I was being too friendly, I told him basically like, I can't be cool with you or friendly towards you and not friendly to everyone else. You know that I'm naturally mean, so it's not going to look right if I'm being cool. At that moment, that's when he said, "Okay, I don't want you in nobody's face, so I won't come up and talk to you. You don't talk to no other inmates." After that, I thought we had an understanding. Literally the next day, he came up to me with him and his cousin, which I later found out that is not his real cousin. They came up to me while we were in the cafeteria, and he said, "This is my cousin. He gonna tell you how to move from now on so we don't get caught." I remember saying, "What the f*** would you tell him that shit?" He told me straight out his mouth, "Oh, he messed with somebody up here too. He know exactly what to do." I immediately cut that conversation off. I said, "I don't know what the fuck you're talking about," and I walked away. The more and more we started talking, the more and more people noticed or even knew that me and him were talking. Specifically, there was one time when another inmate had came up to me and he said he was over there telling somebody that you was his girl and he was going to come home to you. That night when I got home, I was pissed off, so I texted his sister and I told him to let him know to call me. His sister told me he did not have any money on his phone. So like a dumbass, I sent her some dollars so that he can call me. because I felt like a conversation needed to be had.
It's
So,
over with.
okay. So
It's
we kind
over
of talked in code, and I was just like, people are out here standing, telling our business. Of course, he denies it. He said, nobody telling our business. It's the way you move and you being too friendly, which didn't make sense. He said I was being too friendly, and people are starting to notice you moving differently, so they probably think you fucking with somebody. Day after this conversation, they placed me to work where he lived. He told me if I ever get to work where he lives at, to pull him out so he could be with me for the day. I was going to do that, but then the same day that I ended up working there, his cellmate told me, hey, I need to talk to you about something important and to pull me out so that I can be with you while I talk to you about this shit. So, of course, naturally, I'm trying to figure out the tea, so I pulled him out. This man comes out and he says, man, I feel so bad. I didn't think that you'll end up liking him, and I've been having a crush on you, and I feel like Tyler doesn't like you like that, and he just gonna play you. Do you think that you'll give me a chance instead? I knew he liked me because he was trying to mess with me before Tyler. I asked him what's going on. So he's like, I don't even think he likes big girls for real. I looked on his tablet so many times and he only got bad bitches on there. He basically was like, every girl that I've seen on his tablet is skinny, and I like BBWs, and I don't think he likes you, and I think you'll be the woman for me.
Fight for your queen.
So I get mad as I don't give a about nothing he's saying. I look over and I see Tyler. He looking at me, I'm looking at him. He told me to come here. I asked him what the heck he wanted, and he said, why the you keep choosing to play with me? I said, how am I playing with you? I decided to just close the door and stop talking to him, period. Soon after that, they started calling people out to eat in the cafeteria. That's when he comes out and he's like, hate hoes. Hoes be friendly. Hoes be friendly as fuck. I hate a hoe. And I'm just ignoring this shit because I really don't give a fuck. This man ate, came back and said the same thing. I hate hoes. Hoes be friendly. Again, ignoring him. Next thing you know, I'm doing my work. I'm writing my notes. I hear something around the corner. I'm like, what the fuck is that? I'm thinking I'm finna have to break something up. I walk around the corner. I see him and Michael arguing. I heard Michael tell him to leave me alone. And Tyler said, man, what? The friendly. Mind you, he is literally getting pulled back and pointing at me.
Bro, she have 10 parts to this story. All right, we gonna keep going because the shit getting juicy. So we gonna go to part 5. It's getting juicy.
Part 5 on how I let an inmate scam me for almost 2 years of my life. So that day I was not working by myself. I had another officer in there with me, and luckily he really didn't report that situation, or he probably just didn't know what was going on.
See, that's what I was gonna say. So all this shit is going on and none of the officers are in there. None of the officers is hearing this. None of the officers is suspecting that the inmate is lining your cheeks up. What kind of prison y'all work at? But then again, they probably know it. They probably just minding their business.
So that day, I was low-key scared of him, but not scared of him in a way that he was going to hurt me, but more of like, damn,
He gonna snitch.
this don't give a He going to tell somebody if I try to stop with him.
Yeah.
After that day happened, I didn't speak to him for at least 2 days. He didn't even come to the cafeteria. He didn't even say nothing to me. One day, I see Michael. Michael comes up to me and he says, man, that man got me moved. I said, what you mean? Who got you moved? He said, your little boyfriend got me moved. I said, how the did he get you moved? He ain't got no authority. That spooked something in me. He said, I don't know. The nigga got motion. Then want me around you, so he got me moved. As he's telling me this, I see Tyler standing in the distance. I'm like, damn, I gotta walk that way. At this time, I was leaving, so I tried to walk past him real fast so he wouldn't say shit to me. This man walked right up to me and he said, why the f*** you keep playing with me, Amber? Huh? Bitch, I said, I know this is not just say my fake name, real name out loud, bro. I said, Tyler, get the fuck away from me. You making shit hot. He said, man, I don't give a fuck about nothing you talking about. I don't give a fuck these is talking about. Why do you keep playing with me? He said, you keep talking to that Michael, and the whole time you can't even realize he trying to backdoor me to get to you. Mind you, he didn't know what he said. I already knew that. I just wanted him to calm down, so I'm at this point. I just said, I know, bro, just trust me. He was just like, all right, I'm finna call you. Answer your phone. We get on the phone that night. He basically just telling me he don't want me talking to Michael. So I said, man, I'm not finna talk to Michael no more because this is not finna keep causing scenes at this damn job. Now, this is important. Listen, I seen an inmate who was doing something he wasn't supposed to be doing, and I told him a direct order. The man didn't listen. He said, I'm about to go home soon, bitch. I don't gotta listen to you. So I followed him to his dorm, got his information, and I wrote him up. Later on, as I'm about to leave, I get called into the office. My boss asked me why I went over there. She said, okay, so if I asked the other officer why you went over there, she gonna say you was writing somebody up. I said, yeah. Mind you, the place I went to is where Tyler lived. So I tell him, hey, you gotta stop talking to me. I feel like people are starting to know.
Yeah.
But he does not listen.
They caught on.
This man started to show up at my post, not give a fuck about where I was working at, who I was around, will wave at me in public. Like, he really didn't give a fuck. He really thought he was moving smooth.
You put around yourself in that.
My manager didn't even have me work on his side of where he lived. She started putting me on the whole different side of the gate.
It's over with. Damn, yo, why my chick keep falling back? Hold on, guys. Hold on. Yeah, it's over with. They done caught on. They know y'all messing around. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. If I was you, it's time to get another job. Whatever drug dealings he got going on in there, whatever motion he got going on in there, you better tell that man he need to provide for you on the outside because it's time for you to go.
The point where I had my own housing. I see them every day. Mind you, he can only reach his side of his housing. Where I was at, you can get in trouble for trying to come on that side. So now we at this point where I really rarely see him except for maybe once out the day, maybe for like 30 minutes if I'm working in a cafeteria. But I'm not really seeing him throughout the day like how I used to. But we talked on the phone every day. As we're talking on the phone every day, more people are starting to tell me they know about us. But they're just inmates that are close to him. These are supposed to be his friends. But they are telling me, man, don't mess with him. He is broke. Don't mess with him. He smokes too much. I'm not believing none of this shit because I'm like, damn, this got a lot of motion over here. And two, these are the same people who tried to fuck with me before he did. One day, one of the dudes that are telling me this went up to him and asked him what was going on between us. So one of the days I worked in the cafeteria, he asked me, why are you coming up to me asking me about my girl? Mind you, again, a lot of people are around. This just don't give a fuck. So I asked him, like, what the fuck are you talking about? He said, man, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. Why is there asking me about my girl? So at this point, we literally are arguing in front of inmates, in front of the whole cafeteria. Now, I'm trying to be quiet, but he just don't give a fuck. I said, bitch, what the fuck are you talking about? Stop being loud. He gets loud and yells to the whole cafeteria and says, man, if any of these got a problem with me, let's do it. I'm not gonna lie, they ain't say shit. So that night, I'm like, okay, I gotta call his sister.
You see? That turned you on. The fact that he had that much power over them dudes, that turned you on. Ma'am, I ain't trying to look at her whole series, bro, but at this point, I'm invested. You setting yourself up. He obviously don't give a f***. He don't care about you losing your job. He don't care about who finds out. And he's already showing that he can control you.
So I called his sister so I can get a little bit of an insight on his personality. So I tell her what happens, and she says, well, that makes sense because he's very overprotective, and he is a sweetheart, but if he feels played with, he gonna say something about it.
What are you doing?
She's also said that
Satori just said to me, I love you.
That's dope.
She can speak.
She can't speak yet, but I'm glad she said that. Those are her first words, I love you?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, big guy. Let me finish recording. You knew I was recording, but yo, say hi. Go ahead and say hi.
Hello?
Alright, bye.
What?
Bye, bro.
What?
Man always thirsty for some camera time. Bye. Close the door.
that he might get loud, but he'll never hurt you physically. She said that she was going to talk to him about that shit because it's not cool and he need to chill out before he get me in trouble. After that, me and the sister ended up being real cool after that. She also told me to keep in mind that he did lose a family member that day, so he might be a little bit sensitive. He ended up calling me after our talk, and he told me the same thing. He sounded sad, and he also sounded like he was kind of crying. He just kept saying to me that he hates being in jail and that if I was here, he would be hugging me and he wished he could just run up and hug me. That day is the first day he ever asked me for money. And because I felt bad for him, I gave it to him. I gave him $10. After I gave him that money, I guess he seen it as me being locked in. So after that, he kind of got more vulnerable, started telling me about his life, his trauma, his business, everything that he went through in life. And not even just that, like, he kind of opened up personality-wise too. And the more and more I got to really know him, the more and more I got to like him for real. So now we talk every day. You know what I'm saying? Shit is getting deep, and we're really starting to build a bond. Now, at this point, I'm really not seeing him every day. One night, I am with some friends, and I get drunk, and he calls my phone. He asked me where I'm at, what I'm doing, questions that may ask you. And I just said, I'm having a good time. I'm here, do. He says, man, I wish I was with you while you drunk right now. And I'm just like, why? He was like, you can guess what he said. I ain't finna say that. And me being drunk, and I've never talked to him freaky before, I said, man, I wish you was too. So basically, I'm drunk as fuck. I'm sitting in this tub, and me and him are going back talking freaky as fuck. After that, shit was over. All that hard to get shit, me trying to act like I don't really give a shit.
It's over. If they recorded your conversation, it's over. So you basically done had phone sex with this man. I wouldn't, what's crazy? I wouldn't be surprised if the sister wasn't really his sister. I wouldn't be surprised if it was one of his hoes that he put up to this whole situation, because they felt as though you was a meal ticket.
It is over with. We never really talked freaky, even though he said things to me in public. On the phone, he never said nothing freaky to me. But after that day, we are talking freaky. We get to the point where we are now on the phone. Baby hear her think she gushy, and I don't know, he just changed. At this point, he don't even give a fuck about what I'm doing in the jail world. He's wondering about what I'm doing in the real world.
Oh, man.
Let me not answer that phone. We into it bad. I'm calling him a bitch. He calling me a bitch. Like, shit is crazy. He's at the point where he's on the phone screaming, and I'm on the phone screaming. And we got so comfortable with each other. At this point, I'm calling him my boyfriend, and he's calling me his girlfriend.
Oh, my God.
He's now touching me when he sees me. He's grabbing my ass, like... And I'm telling him not to touch me, but he don't give a fuck. Now that we at this point, we are in lust, right? And sometime I was by myself, and I had nobody with me. And he found out, and he tried to come to where I was so that he could try to do something with me. He got in trouble that day, and he got caught trying to come to my side of the building.
Oh, man. This is the last one I'm going to react to, right? I'm going to put her name on the side. Y'all go to her page, and y'all listen to the rest of it. I'm not going to react to her whole story. I ain't going to do that. That's not fair. It's getting juicy, though. But go to her page and watch the rest.
Part 6 on how I let an inmate scam me for almost 2 years of my life. Okay, so he ends up getting caught. Mind you, I'm doing my job, so I don't know what's going on. I didn't find out until later that night where he told me he tried to come to where I was at, and he got in trouble. At this point, he's been getting in trouble a lot, so I already knew what would happen with him. I don't see him no more for a few days after this, but who I was seeing was Michael. Michael came up to me, and he told me that he knew he got in trouble. This man got on his knees in front of the whole cafeteria and begged me to stop messing with him because I'm the love of his life. Y'all, I was terrified. The place that he was at was for more low-level crimes, but if you keep getting in trouble over and over again, they send you to somewhere else. Off the stuff that he was doing already, I really felt like he couldn't hold water. So to avoid anything, I just left. And I started working for somewhere else. Before him, I was ready to go anyway. And between Tyler getting in trouble and what Michael just did, yeah, it was time to go. When I left the job, me and Tyler still stayed in contact. At this point, we're pretty much locked in. After he got in trouble, he lost his access to commissary. He also didn't have a way to make money because he was trying to stay out of trouble, so he couldn't even put money on the phone. Because honestly, I felt bad. I did start helping him out. I sent like $10, $20 every now and then to his sister Nicole or his homeboy girlfriend. Her name was Myra. That was my 50,000th mistake. After that, he started to be a little bit more dependent on me. I really started getting annoyed, and I really started to not really like him anymore because every day it would either be, oh, I need something for this or I need something for that. Yeah. Okay, so this is where my mean side started coming back. Mind you, we've been really sweet and respectful with each other for the past few months, and we never really argued. But when I started being mean, he started being mean. I would disrespect him, call him a bitch, a bum, all types of shit. He never...
Before we get to what she was saying, right? I have a family member who's locked up. Now, he has been in and out of prison since I was in high school. All right? And what she's saying about him calling and needing her and asking for money and stuff like that, that sounds exactly like my family member. To this day, I can't figure out why he be needing the bread. I've narrowed it down to either he be in there on them drugs or he be owing people bread. You know what I'm saying? It could be that he be owing people bread or he be in their game. He be in their game extorted. But I'm not sure, bro, because he not a pushover. But at the same time, you could be a real one outside, and when you're in prison, things change. How me talking about sending them money and people asking for more, and it's coming from a place of experience.
Really talked about my appearance or talked down on me around this time. So if anything, he would just call me bird brain, dumb, stupid, or some shit like that. He would either just scream at me, call me a bitch or something like that, but really, I was the one really just going in on him. At this point, I start getting distant. He starts getting distant. Mind you, around this time, I still kind of liked him and I still was having feelings for him, so him going distant kind of made me feel some type of way. I started complaining like, why you only call when you want some money? Why when you call me, it's some short conversations? He would just say he don't want to argue every day. So this put me in a mindset of trying to protect my brain and heart, I guess. I don't know if you ever met somebody who becomes mean to protect themselves. That's me. I'm that type of person. One day he calls me and we were actually having a good day. And I think his cellie said something about me loving him and how much I care about him. I said some shit like, can't no have me pressed, he lucky, or some shit like that. That's when he said, man, you'll cry if this leave you right now. I said, can't no make me cry and can't no hurt my feelings. I wish I would. Tyler was like, damn, that's how you feel? You don't care if I leave or not? I said, baby, I don't care what you do. That's when he said, all right, I'm going to just call you back. I said, and if you don't call back, you might as well not call me at all because I'm done and I'm blocking you. Draw. Around this time, I forgot to mention, we were no longer using his sister Nicole to talk on the phone. We were using my homegirl. Okay, so next morning comes, I didn't receive no call from him last night. My homegirl is calling me twice in the morning. I already know who it is, so I didn't answer. She's texting me, bitch, answer the phone, and go on mute. Why does Tyler is on the phone trying to flirt with my homegirl? He has never seen my homegirl. He's never talked to her before. So I don't know where this shit came from. Basically on the phone, he's saying he was thinking about moving to Atlanta and what's out there. And she was just like, why are you talking to me? He was like, I was just trying to see what you was on. And I really think I'm too much for your homegirl. And she don't see a real and she know I'm not gonna come home open arms to her. She cool though, she cute.
Hey yo, bro, God rest the dead. I wish this man was still alive. But Danae's cousin's husband, I've spoken about him before. He was telling stories. Like, he would tell prison stories, right? And a lot of his stories was either they little prison wars or females. And he was explaining how they would go to the visiting area and a chick would come in and visit one of the other inmates. And if he see her and he like it, he had ways of getting to her to the point where the next time she might come visit, she coming to visit him. And bro, I promise you, I thought he was capping. Bro. But then I started hearing similar stories. You feel what I'm saying? And this right here is a story that I also heard to where it wasn't him though. It was somebody else. I guess it was one of his mans. The dude that's locked up had like a homeboy on the outside. Like they had some type of dealings that, you know, they had some type of dealings, right? So the dude on the outside used to have his girl bring stuff to the prison. Now, police, if you listening, I don't know any of these people. So if you listening to the story and you trying to make me point out folks, I don't know these people. I was just a fly on the wall. Well, I was just a bystander listening to, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, the dude used to have his girl bring the stuff to the prison, which was a big mistake, honestly. Now I'm thinking about it, it was stupid. The guy that was locked up, he started filling his man's girl. Y'all can guess what happened. He stole his man's girl. Imagine losing your girl to your man's that's locked up. That's crazy. That's why I'm telling y'all, bro. These dudes that be locked up have nothing but time to master psychology. They have nothing but time to master how to get what they want from people.
He don't know I'm on the phone, and we texting back and forth about this shit. Now that I think about this shit is crazy. So they were on the phone. I'm listening. I'm on mute. We texting, right? Soon after this, he was like, all right, I'm about to call Amber. She was like, okay, bet. Playing along and shit. So he calls again, and I get on the phone pretending I didn't just hear what I just heard. He like, good morning, baby girl. How you doing? I'm like, shit, I'm straightening. He like, why you acting like that? I said, what you mean, nigga? I'm acting like nothing. He does a little giggle. He said, all right. I said, bitch, what the you laughing for? He like, damn, what's wrong with you? I said, you think I'm stupid? He said, nah, I'm already knowing. I said, so why did you think that you was going to be slick? He said, I really didn't. I'm already knowing she was going to tell you. He like, man, we argued, and you should know I wasn't just going to come open arms to you. I got 2 kids. I said, bitch, I didn't think that you was coming home open arms to me, but I for sure didn't think that you would try to f*** with my homegirl. He was like, man, I'm not trying to talk to your homegirl for real. I don't even know what she looked like. He was like, I was just trying to break the hoe and get her to send me some money. Anyways, we argue, and we always into it anyways. We ain't even meant for each other. I said, you a weird ass, and I hung up the phone. He calls right back. I'm like, what are you calling me for? He says, man, I think we could just still be cool and shit and be friends. I said, okay, that's fine. We can do that. And then I hung up the phone. I told my homegirl to block their number. A few hours go by, I get a phone call from a number I ain't never seen before. Of course it's him. I'm like, bro, what do you want? He's like, really? You gonna block me like that? You just gonna give up on me like that? I'm like, you said what you said. Not for the beg no. It was like, man, I'm up. I'm not realizing what I got. You're a good woman. You pray over me. You help me out. I don't want to lose you. Bitch, why did I fall for that shit? Bam, when I tell you I was on my dumb bitch shit this year, mind you, I don't still have my head in it the way I was before. I'm realizing I still like him and I still want to talk to him, but I'm already knowing I'm getting played. So I continue to let him call me and talk to me after this situation. I know. But I still got my eyes out. There was this man at my job. Man, he was fine as f***. He was a little bit older, maybe like 33, and he had good money. He was way older than me at this time, but I still liked him. We're going to call him Reese. Reese was about 6'3", tattoos on his neck, had a type at this point. Very fit. He looked good. He was so nice to me and so sweet to me. We were talking back and forth at this point, but I was still talking to Tyler, but I still felt like I didn't owe him no loyalty. Part 6 on how I let an inmate scam me for almost...
Bro, I'm going to watch the rest of this on my own because I don't want y'all to watch her whole story through me because I feel as though it's going to take away from it. So go to her page and watch the rest of the story. As far as what I'm going to say, me personally, there is a few jobs that I couldn't date the people that work there, okay? Police officer. I could not date a woman that's a police officer. Corrections officer. I could not date a woman that's a corrections officer. If she work in a warehouse, if she's in the military. Now, I know the military one might touch some souls. It might touch some souls, but I've heard stories. And the stories I've heard scare me. Just like the prison, I've heard prison stories. The warehouse stories I've experienced. I have the warehouse experience. And I just know. If my woman is in any of them type of professions, I can't do it.